Sanje,
Cholang Soji Chonamla, Chandri Badu, Suchi, Chujen, Zonamji, Drola, Venture, Singi,
Sanje,
Cholang Soji Chonamla, Chandri Badu, Suchi,
Taji Chujen,
Zonamji, Drola, Venture, Sange, Drupa, Shore.
Tayata, Gade, Paragate, Parasomgate, Bodhi, Tayata, Gade, Paragate, Parasomgate, Bodhi, Tayata, Gade, Paragate, Parasomgate, Bodhi, Swaha. Simja Tamjaga, Tobjala Namajeva, Sanjay, Humbar, Mojini, Tobacha, the Asia, the Janjus, and the Sucha, and Yamsa, Nawa, symbol of Toba, Toji, Manoa, Godu, and Kasu, Labjin, shooting in some future.
And so let's set our motivation, as we normally do, to do whatever we possibly can to attain the peerless state of enlightenment in order to benefit all living beings. And knowing that to attain that state, I must also perfect all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. And to perfect those trainings in turn, I need to be able to study, to understand based on an unmistaken presentation. And so it is with this in mind that I am here this morning to listen to a talk on the Graduated Path to Enlightenment series of teachings. Gyatang Jupke. Yana dokshi jail again, because Teda Migewa Ju Bongwa, Solchim Songwa Dene.
That can judge Namjun and because it's what she set up, and a top jella to just about the number, and to us. And Lamasha just a good Casata, switching all set up, and they took on the set them short of trouble at dinner, and that Java Dodge and then Yamichin Lamatic set up. And then, as a yella, and the Casota, and Jesus Jamba, and Yamichin Casota, Judge Juju Lamatic. What said that Jesus Jamba, and Jesus Jamba combo, and down is a Papa Tomela Soda. Casata, Yamichin Lamatic set up. Because what Quanta, Judge Juju Lamatic. Then, because of the ear chodler, and because of the Jesus Jamba Yangla, and Papa Tomela Soba, and because of that, some of the Lamatic set up. What did it check? And then the Shamdela and Gadam Kita, Lamripa, Shumbapa, Mengapa to get set up. This Yaniche and the Shamdela and because of the Kanjache, Gadam Sama and Jambalama Zongabalan. Because of that, Polo ticket set up. And doing the Rangi Children Modo Lamala, Zawe Lamala Children Modo Lamatic set up, and then that Kanjache Judici. That can tell it that Kanjache Lameche, Nature, Juju, Jajuche, and it gets on Sunday Donch. And then because of the Rangi, Kadenacha, gets on Sunday Donch, and the Jaju, because of the new setting Jalasova and Johnson Public. Nam Koniva, and then Cousin Rangi, Niente, Power Country, Church so much, and Taka, Soji Masama never said, Rangaduna, Taiva, my guess, check you something. What did you
Then, as normal, we set up the merit field in the context of this particular teaching and text, and that begins, of course, with the central figure of the one who is skillful in means, compassionate, the Guru Shakyamuni Buddha at the center of that merit field. And behind, we visualize the lineage of the consecrated practices, lineage beginning with Vajradhara and containing all the lineage lamas of that particular consecrated practices lineage. And then with regard to that, also the Shantak, the Chinnak Yu Tang, and also the
laba ye mo chatla cha ye mo chatla ane jaji joju ge lama nam jaji joju da jisu jaba kombola ane papa tomela so be ane
and so then also yes on the right of the central figure is the lineage of the extensive practices starting with Maitreya and then Arya Asanga and the different gurus of that particular lineage, and on the left of the central figure the lineage of the profound view headed by Manjushri, and including of course Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti and all the different great gurus of that particular lineage. And then also left and right both we'll have the grouping known as the new Kadampas or Geluk lineage with Lama Tsongkhapa.
Kadam ni ma da tigora cuz George da ane George jubati kumro da samboda yu jaju jeju ni ro di shamdela kadam lamri ba shumba ba menga ba cha di ni ka di shamdela ane kadam sama.
So sorry, to begin with the actual original Kadampa lineages first, both on the left and right, including the three different schools there of the scriptural, the instructional and the Lamrim schools of the Kadampa lineage. And then below them are the new Kadampas or Geluk, start with the Lama Tsongkhapa in the center, surrounded by the lamas of that particular Lamrim lineage. And then we continue the visualization of the merit field to the area just in front of the central figure, the main figure, and that will be where we find our own root guru, surrounded by all the gurus from whom we have received teachings. And then the tantric lineages from the highest yoga tantra through yoga tantra, the charya and kriya tantra, the different sets of the tantras there, represented by representative deities of those tantric sets. Then we have the actual the grouping of the Buddhas. The Buddhas of this fortunate eon, the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon, the 35 Buddhas, etc. All those representative of all enlightened Buddhas. And then the Arya Bodhisattvas, what is that? Rangel? Yeah.
Ranja Tajo Bella Zotico Concept and the Shabda near to Tajo Matic and Pau Country Sugar. Tamaja Sanja Don Theatre near Sitting Gala Soba Jajusaba.
Yes, then the Arya Bodhisattvas and the kind of like including like the 8 close disciples of the Buddhas and other groupings of the great Bodhisattvas and the hearers and the solitary realizers. Then from below them we have the Arhats. Then from the Arhats, the Dakas, Dakinis, and the Dharma protectors taking up the lower part of the merit field. And then all around us are all countless sentient beings.
Pamala soba, Pilpinjala soba, Pame Simja, and Range Casade, Detone, Rantone, Kiwamakan, that Tamara Tala soba, De la Zebe, and it comes from the Simja, Tamja, Masawa Meva use, and Deda Tamja, and a reduce to Nonshaba, number Minesh, Samutan UK, and the Tamu Deda, Yunde Temshimaka, and Tawe Teva, Yishik Teva, Mundu Teva, Tintage, you have some chat.
And so that within all those sentient beings all around us, of course, we break that down into, those who we really recognize, our relatives, our friends, our parents, and then all those who we actually have acquaintance with, who make us happy when we see them, and they are happy when they see us, or the vice, even the reverse of that we are unhappy to see them and they are unhappy to see us, so they might be regarded as kind of an enemies. And then all those who are neutral to us, we don't have any particular feeling to them one way or another. So all the beings of the three realms or the six realms of existence, and now even though they are resident in their own particular realms, we visualize them as having a human sensibility, so they're able to experience their reality and through human awareness, human consciousness. And so we have then, through recalling the wonderful enlightened qualities of the members of the merit field in the space in front of us, we develop faith. And this faith can be the faith of conviction, the faith, manifest faith, and pure faith. And then likewise, simultaneously, we, in regarding the various sufferings of all the sentient beings in the different realms all around us, we develop a sense of close compassion towards them. And so that we just contemplating on the reality of all the sentient beings, that we are visualizing that they want so much to experience happiness, but they are bereft of that happiness. They want so much to avoid suffering, yet they are inundated by sufferings coming one after the other. And that we really bring that into mind, and really think of how wonderful it would be if they were completely free of that suffering. May that be the case. I will see that it is the case. Oh Guru, please bless me to be able to bring this about. How wonderful if all sentient beings could experience happiness and its causes. May it be the case. I will be the one to bring this about. Oh Guru Deity, please bless me to make this happen. And so we have this feeling of faith towards the members of the merit field, and of pure compassion towards all the sentient beings all around. And then in focusing on the merit field, we see that light emanates from the heart centers of all the members of the merit field and goes to the Buddha realms, and they're inviting the wisdom beings to come from those Buddha realms. The wisdom beings come down and dissolve into all of the members of the merit field. And we feel that though they are of all the different appearances, different aspects, different characters within the merit field, that they are still of one nature. And then we again to re-establish our motivation for the benefit of all sentient beings, that I really want to avail of the blessing of the merit field and to engage in this practice of the graduated path to enlightenment, because there really is no alternative in order, if I want to fulfill that motivation, that ambition to work for the benefit of all sentient beings, to engage in the study of and the practice of the graduated path.
And Tata Sanja, Mahoma Sankia, what you were Kangakita, that lamb dilated Sanjo, you may say, Tangarajo, Semja Tamjego, Sankia, what chicken, Jibayina, Sankia, what magic, not Tamagan Jibayina, the lamb de Martin, Tametic. 람데 마데마 탐에 되죠. 다들 되는 뭐다 다스 이제 뭐다 다가 심정을 되는 쪽에 있으면 되는 쪽으로 산재였고만 마도는 되는 차상화지 두고요 말이야. 그래서는 심정을 되는 줍서도 심정에 감다 매와 삼바 발은냐와 차상화지 마시면은 아니 될 되는 쪽 두고 매와 인사 아니 디 차상화 신경도 산재 약식 차대요. 아니 디 인사 아니 다 이제 산재고 아마 좀 탐에 되는 차대기도 하고 되죠.
And that we can rely on the presentation of known as the graduated path to enlightenment as really the only essential path to be able to attain the state of enlightenment, because it is the same path relied on by the Buddhas of the past and those who are attaining enlightenment as we speak, and those who will attain enlightenment in the future. And likewise, that it is the singular path, if we really want to perfectly be able to benefit sentient beings, this is the only way to be able to do it, to accomplish the different subjects of the graduated path to enlightenment. And so for that reason, also we have to attain enlightenment, because only from the perception, from the point of view of an enlightened being, will we know the individual personalities, dispositions, needs and wants of every single individual sentient being, and that way be able to tailor our benefit to exactly their needs.
아니 가서데 아니 경계 차탐제 봐. 연내가 차 용수 저거지라 산제스요. 다들 인자 산제 타예 봐줘다. 로주 온도 다는 거저 히스토리컬 산제다 거저 저블리 용조 뭐제데 산제서 또 마샤제 또 다디 대자 많이 봐디 다들 템바디 템베 타고 차다. 대자 많이 봐 산제 타예 봐 정도다. 아니 나라조에 배준지게 임바이나 산제도 가서 나 또 마샤제 또 산제데 당원의 산계제 말아 산계의 공격을 산계의 리뷰와 인상 산계 말이야. 다 산계의 리뷰 심지어 탐제라 정부 순제를 해야 되겠지라. 그래. 당 간절 산계의 리뷰 세 번째로 배준 제마제 개발지래마도 정말 강갈 해야 되겠지.
And so that likewise when we talk about Buddha, the attainment of enlightenment, of the state of Buddhahood, we shouldn't just confine our understanding of what Buddhahood is, or Buddha, to the historical Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. That in fact Buddhas are countless in number, and that the definition of an enlightened being is one who has eradicated all negative qualities completely, and who has fulfilled accomplished all good qualities to their perfection. And so this again is to not to confine our understanding to the historical Buddha, but knowing that if we can make the effort required, we too can attain that state of enlightenment. We too can become a Buddha. And that this is because we all have what's known as Buddha nature, the essential potential to attain enlightenment. The difference is that those who have attained enlightenment have made the requisite effort, whereas we have not.
그래서 나라도 산계함 하도에 가서 나라도 녀모 온게 녀모가 집네 산계함 하도 그래. 이내 녀모의 생각 랑신을 쉬어서 오랑신을 쉬어 말이야. 랑신을 쉬면와 임바 인상 고 빵두고 요래. 난 대자 말에 녀모 코라라 잡된 참아요 말이야. 잡된 참아면와 임바 인상 아니 고빵 가서 뒤 녀모 잡된 참아요 로드드 요가 임바 인상 고빵 두고 도와. 빵 두고 도.
That then the reasons that we are not enlightened as we speak is because we are obscured by what are known as the mental afflictions. Now these are very they obscure us, but they are not an intrinsic part of the mind, of our nature. They can be eradicated, and that and also they can be eradicated because they are not supported by valid reasoning. And that when they are opposed by valid reasoning, they cannot withstand against that valid reasoning. And so that's a good reason to to understand how we can actually become enlightened ourselves. And that when these mental afflictions that are not supported by valid reasoning are opposed by qualities that are supported by valid reasoning, then they can be eradicated, because unlike the mental afflictions, these good qualities supported by valid reasoning can be developed and cultivated to their perfection. And of course, the perfection of all good qualities is that essential component for the attainment of enlightenment.
그래서 미 류된 저는 누가시라 요말다 다 가르쳐 미스가 남주도 요와 다 남주도 요와 인사 아니 뭐유가 내주 이미를 제바체네 아니 뭐유가 내주 신배토네 아니 공부 탐에도 배워 제도도 다들 미 류된 것도 제도도 안팅 알아서 구급도
And so that, it's true to say that, yes, if we make the necessary effort, we can attain the state of enlightenment. But we have to be realistic also. We say that all living beings have this essential seed or component of Buddha nature. But not all can have the same capacity to cultivate that seed, to be able to reach the full potential of that Buddha nature. It really is only a human being who has the necessary prerequisites to do that. And even though from the point of view of a physical prowess, the human body may not produce much, may not have great capacity, but in terms of intellect, this is where the human being really shines. And it's through this process of being able to use that intellect correctly, to be able to analyze and to be able to really understand why one has this Buddha potential and how best to realize that potential, that it is important to have attained that human existence. And so it's really from that point of view of having that human existence that one can really hope to attain the state of enlightenment.
다 된대 이마 인사 아니 단단 거서 미류된 레데요 디자 아니 간투도가다 배준제의 개침버셔 아니 직직자 니들라다 두배다 산제 공부 두고다 다 딜레 단단 가라서 가서 거도들 깨와 치마들 년송을 깨와 이나 뺏사고 여바 인자 아니 깨와 치마 년송을 마게왜 탑시도 아니 다 깨와 치마래야 아니 최두두고 류대실 내지도 아니 지금 미기 주는 거 주는 소에
And so that's therefore, since we have attained that state of a human being, then it really behoves us to make the essential effort to attain the state of enlightenment. And so, but also we again, back to the reality of the situation, that this may not necessarily be attained in just one lifetime. And so we have to really strategize. And in this way, our first consideration is that after this life, we do not end up in what are known as the lower realms in the next life. And so we must be work towards initially ensuring that we avoid such an outcome and have a good human existence in the next life, so that we can continue with our spiritual practice. And in the context of doing this, of ensuring this for ourselves, we engage in ethical conduct, and specifically the ethical conduct of refraining from what are known as the 10 non-virtuous actions.
네네 야보다 시부지리데 얘네 땜복게 말와 땜복게 말해 로다 뒤에서 치원게 말해 남친이 매래 다 치외체 아니 개와지 두비나 팽그래 미개월 주는 동해 용거래 다 팽마베서 대화도 동해 기대시고 유튜 아니 저기 대화 용거래 개와지 두비나 미개와지 바이는 사이는 동해 용거래 다 가서 된 대화 되고 돼서 다 치외체 최마도 강하게 미편바 인바 아니 세딜에 세치마 개체와 쓰이잖아. 아니 다 최주야. 다 최 주위에 개체 못 쓰고 그도 어디를
And so that, to be able to ensure that we attain human life in the future is the first main objective, and that to understand also that, that this life we have now is great to have this human life. It's a very good basis to be able to use, but it's not permanent. It doesn't last. It's not stable, and that death is definite, and the time of death is indefinite. And only our virtue will be any good to us at the time of death. And these are three essential components that we must understand, and that we know that from virtue arises happiness, from non-virtue arises suffering. And so it's really only a virtue that will be a benefit to us at the time, and to ensure that we attain that future life as a human being. And that in the course of doing that, in the focus on gaining that positive, fortunate human rebirth, we must change the emphasis to being able to place more emphasis on the importance of future lives, and that means take away the emphasis on how much we consider the importance of this life.
지난 가서도 책 말아서 저거 수업 맞게다 아니 지금 뭐 로예 맞게다 아니 가서도다 가서도다 가저 맞을래 밀랭게다 그냥 루고는 좀 나고 중에 참아 치고 나게 낙선에서 lok달라 소바다 가데 왔다 된데게 저 소주다 맞게 미상보다는 뭐 연구 열때 얘네야 책이 쳐도다 미기 다 가서다 지금 책이 아니 소소게 저 가서다 담다 된데게 쳐도다 미가 미 약보래라 그래 삼삼 된데게 쳐도 추좀 소하는 책 대자면도 시부시부 배가요 말에 네 봐줘 이 최제배 컨트롤요 말다 치마 편제라 치마 편제 아니 뭐도 공부토에 쳐도다 아니 지금 류거나 소주와 마지막 로열라 소바 지금에서 domsen지 아니 낙선료슬라 지금에서 domsen지 아니 로달라서다 지금에서 왔다 된다도 제바나 왔다 최제배 거대는 주고들 기부 중고스기도 알람을 저도 기부 중고스 수비열에 왔는데 좀 다가자 왔다 다 되네잖아 아니 최제배 거대 다랑 최배제로 출발해요 다 되나 다들 최바 타마들 다 최바 타마서다 랍딩 타소나 타마디자 다가자 최배제로 추점차 다 대자 맞아 봤잖아 다 되네 기부 등라다 대제바이네 동네리샤 데레 타베다 타바동도 무슨 기부 등자 아니 되네다 란치고 타바도나 평면도 산제 고마 마도나 팅면도 다 대바치 비쳐도 나 꿀롱거 차네다 대바치 비쳐 줘도 뭐도 꿀롱거 차네 저다 다 마탈라야 최제스도 개와 치말라 페베 꿀롱 요거 거기도 와 어디래
And so then this ethical conduct of refraining from the 10 non-virtues as the essential fundamental practice for the avoidance of the lower realms in the immediately subsequent life, and to be able to attain and that basis of a human body in order to continue one's practice. So these particular non-virtues refer to killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. These are all related to physical acts. Then there's verbal acts of stealing, of lying, harsh speech and divisive speech, and idle gossip or pointless talk. And then 3 of related to mental activity known as covetousness or malicious intent, and wrong view. And so that one can actually abide in that kind of ethical conduct, and there are many that do, and they're regarded as good people. But if they're only doing it for this life, then it's caught up in the notion of behaving well in order to gain a good reputation, that people will remark how that person is a good person. And if that's the case, then it really does contaminate one's practice, because one's motivation is contaminated, and that there's not a great benefit in that. And neither can it be counted as true spiritual practice. And that for a minimum, one has to have the emphasis for our actions, the benefit of future lives. and that here we should engage in the ethical conduct of refraining from killing, refraining from stealing, refraining from sexual conduct, refraining from lying, etc., etc., with the motivation that it is for the future and future lives to attain at least a positive rebirth in the future. And this is known as the practitioner of a smaller capacity, and that in the context of there being three essential types of spiritual practitioner, the one who is supreme, and the one who is kind of the middling, and this is the most basic kind of spiritual practitioner, the being of smaller capacity. So at least they're regarded as somebody who is counted as a spiritual practitioner. For the one who is a medium type practitioner, they again refine and expand their motivation to think how it's not good enough just to attain rebirth in cyclic existence, even if it is as a fortunate rebirth, but they want to get out of cyclic existence completely and attain liberation. And then the supreme practitioner is somebody who contemplates all of this and considers that to attain liberation is good, but for myself alone it's not good enough. All sentient beings are in the same position, and I must work to attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. And this is known as the being of greater capacity. So it really is down to one's motivation at what level one is practicing at.
마탈라야 아니 개와 치마 편절라 아니 원디 공부 되게 제도 아니 추좀 소나 아니 마탈라야 되지 개와도 상고고 제대 맞잖아 아니 최 랑게 제와도 최 많이 받쳐두고도 와.
And so for the very least, then we need to be able to engage in our spiritual practice in order for for the benefit of future lives to attain what's known as a fortunate rebirth in future lives. If we can't manage even that much, then what practice we are doing can't be counted as a spiritual practice. And so we are in this particular text discussing the subject matter that is relevant to the being of smaller capacity, and that that is where we are at. But of course, the way in which this is outlined is that it is the path in common with the being of smaller capacity. So it's saying this is really a staging post in order to ultimately adopt the attitude and motivation of the being of greater capacity.
단데도 추좀 내게 좀 찾아 추좀 가서다 소속에 맞에 받zam게 아니 추좀 소속에 받다 추좀서도 어떤게 대교 톤에 안되게 지금에서 덤선 때네 다는 다 좋아이나 다 마시보다 지금에서 덤선 때 봐이나 다들 추좀 소속에 찾기도 와 추좀서도 소에서 받으러 아니 디자바이나 아니 냐나 조나 사나 통나다 가도 임바이나 추좀 소에 편의도 못되는 용대지.
So ethical conduct is central to the being of smaller capacity, and this is what ethics are being able to analyze behaviors, to see that those that have a fault, that those behaviors that are of a negative nature, and to really understand that that is the case, and then to really make a determination to restrain oneself from engaging in those negative actions, and even to make a vow that one will abide by the ethical conduct of refraining from such actions until for one's whole life. In that way, the benefit of engaging in that practice and sustaining that vow is going to be evident for us in all our actions, whatever we are doing throughout the day and even when we're asleep.
kumba시보다 개와도 못으로 용태가 다들 그 캡상하려도 한다 캡상하는 것을 렌토가 지에지 어디는지 다들 이제 아니 가라서 미르데 레발라 아니 저 마탈라야 아니 속조 방에 수좀 송하지 매와 이나 미르데 렌토고 요 말이야 미르데 레발라 rata mi luden ta ngode luden sta mi dal hatata 되게 ngode luden sla bala ngebado ane chudim 송하지 마나 디나네 ane 속주 봐 chudim 송하지 마나 렌투고 요 말이
And so that's so this is important to understand also, isn't that when we consider any potential spiritual practice for us to be able to analyze and see the benefits of it. And in this particular case, when we take on a vow to engage in a particular ethical conduct for the rest of our lives, then the virtue is going to accrue for us throughout that life, and in whatever we are doing is continuous. And that, and in regard to the 10 non-virtues, the very first one of refraining from killing is absolutely essential if our ambition is to attain a future life as a human being in a fortunate rebirth. That this is absolutely essential.
그래. 배나 나라서 단다 미일된 레다 나라서 빠바다 아마니 아니 투 아니 데레지나 미차오래서도 어딘데 말해. 데레 말해. 먼저 미일된 레데 미일된 레데 소제 경험만을 추듬송. 아니 송송전에 아니 수dim송다 베 라도 대조리도 수dim소 저서 파제 조저 몰란 드마메바 참잖아. 요한테고 다 파마데다 된대게 아니 레기 더이게 파마지라 아니 소소 냥소 자주고도 와.
And so we mustn't limit our understanding of this human life that we have attained to it arising from my mother and father. That this is not the whole story, and that we have attained a human existence based on our previous practice of good ethical conduct, and that this is the case of having attained a fortunate rebirth with the particular freedoms and leisures and so on, and endowments. I mean, that this is affording us every opportunity to be able to use this human existence to the best of its capacity as well. This has come from our previous ethical conduct.
그래 이제 말이다. 뒤나 경험만 다가라 이미다 미신데 이네다 직전에 그 레스긴들라 아니 통주 연주를 내요래. 아니 가서 걔네 연주를 내요래. 걔네 렌다 샬라 연주 요래. 다 레사서는 가시 랩톱 접어서 이제 체딜을 잡아도 체딜을 잡고 요해. 가시기다 체딜을 잡아도 겨치마 다가라는 요해. 걔네 시한도 요해. 다 되네 렌다 시한도 요. 렌다 좋다 겨 봄차 먹은게래 인초그래. 야나 nga du ngele yin cho ta na so yu cho gre wo ta de yong cho gre wo ye ba yo ma de ta gai na me na so so ge mi lu le ge le ja sa ne kya wa nga ma de ba de le ja sa ne ane ta da kya wa di nga ma de shiga la ga de la ane mi lu le de la so ta ba la de ne ane di ane ka sa de so ta ba la de ne ane kya wa nga ma de ane ta ka ja je ka sa de 다 가자제 시차네 아니 밀루레가 바르토 아니 바르토디 바시츠 다 바르토디게 아니 랑이 깨네 체체체체도 아니 랑이 레다 저요게 파마니 냥삼 파마니가 쿠다 뒤바다 아니 레가 온게 통네 아니 텔라 냥삼 자주고 열봐 그러다 당보 그 냥삼 자겐게 아니 거제 바시와디 아니 덴데지 밀루 두베게 레자 마사나 그 용도구면 도와
And so this, our previous selves, our particular life in the previous life is something that we are not privy to. We don't see that. And yet we can be assured that it is only through the karmic imprints that we have laid down in previous lives that we are able to enjoy the kind of human existence that we have now. And that karmas are very varied. We have karmas that are accumulated in an earlier part of life, and they will ripen in that same life. And then there are karmas that are accumulated in one life, and they ripen in the immediately following life. And then there are karmas that are accumulated in one life, and they may not ripen for hundreds of thousands of lifetimes after that. So there's great variety in the way that karmas are ripen. But in terms of ours, that our human existence, that in a previous life we have engaged in virtue that has laid down karmas on our mind stream, and then at the point of death, these karmas have ripened, and they have projected us into what is known as the intermediate state, bardo existence. And in the intermediate state, then we constantly search for the next rebirth that is going to happen. We eventually encounter our future father and mother copulating, and then wish to join that. And that is the way in which we are conceived into the next life. And that if we haven't accumulated the karma, we do not have that perception in the intermediate state. We do not have that vision in the intermediate state, and we will not have such a rebirth.
Pena charjan ta pena ta barsiwa yobati ribe khoda potu kasana pena charjan ta tseri ba suge ani korsore ta pena mixe membe tseri ba suge korsore pai khoa gyo megenche mai gonga de gyo megenche niga duju dada jana pugu chaege ani 가서 다 가렌티 요마레스 다 딜라데 바르시오지 요고고 다 대가라니 복두고도 와.
So that in terms of the intermediate state being, that can be a very central role, obviously, in a future rebirth, because even from the scientific point of view, from the medical realm, when they examine the reproductive organs of both male and female, and they can conclude that there is no fault in the sperm of the male, no fault in the ovum of the female, yet the conception of a baby is not guaranteed, not in any way guaranteed. And so that even though that is the case, a couple may not conceive even for their whole lives. And so it shows that there is a role here for the intermediate state being that can bring that potential, make that potential conception manifest.
다 레기 대화유베 된데가 파다 마니게 될 포문이게 레기 대화유베 벌시와직 아니 뒤주닥다제 요구도 와. 대대지 매바이나 다 차두고 매바다 세부 잡으러 와.
And so that then with the karma, to bring about the arising of that intermediate state being, then together with the sperm and egg of the father and mother, and with the correct timing, all this comes together to bring about the conception of a new life. And so you can see how the intermediate state being is essential in that process.
Yeah, 다 되네 이마이자 다 베나 체자 베나 체리베가 조당 토데 제바나 다 제타다 차와이네 보고 쳐봐도 가르쳐봐서는 다 제셋 붙였던 것도 다 낭배 중내 셔봐죠 제셋 딱딱 오 벌시와 상급도 되게 레게 저와요 벌시와 좀 마중아 이마 인자 안 보고 차도 말해서는 걸 레딱딱 레되고 요도.
And so you can see here that from the scientific point of view, that they may, once they examine the sperm and ovum of the potential of the male and female, and then but no conception occurs, they can be stumped as to what is the explanation. Why is it not happening? And yet, from the Buddhist point of view, we can know that here the intermediate state being is the missing ingredient.
what 가자 그 레딱다지 용되게 또 어다데 딱그 세르베 카이마 딱 하나도 딱시 나라 바르도 왔는데 다 니두고 말해 봐. 다들 가보러 와.
And so it's no fault of the particular scientific analysts here, sense that they will not be able to perceive an intermediate state being as a part of the process.
다 가자 좀제 망고를 때네 다 가자 다다 남배 흉내 셰베 되게 다 지금 송예 산제가 송래 대 안배 좀제 리페 때라 밤에 용한데 때때 못 쳐요 되겠죠 미다 통도고 먼저 좀제 산로 오 디인셔서래 디인셔서래 삼삼 때때 요래.
So in terms of the way in which one embraces or encounters or engages in the Buddhist texts, and that it's not simply because the Buddha said so that we assert anything, that it must adhere to valid reasoning, and that in this context, when we put it to analytical reasoning, and then we can conclude what is possible and what is likely.
다 근데 이봐 인자 다 가져 다나 렌테 셰데 가르 숨고 열서는 아니 가서데 주다 데뷔게 아니 릭투베 줄레 릭투베 데부 용단게 아니 가서다 지가서 내절 로스 그래 어디 제시작 여러마도 믹스게 지금 대화 제구를 제제 제구 되게 계자 말이야 그 내절 로도 그 세리랑 차대요.
And that furthermore, like when the subject of the law of cause and effect is discussed, it really is from a scientific perspective, because when cause and effect or cause and result are proposed, that they must be in concordance, that the result must be in harmony with the cause that brought it about, and vice versa. And so it's not a question of simply having some sort of faith to verify the law of cause and effect, but it really is a natural law, one that is adhered to by scientific inquiry also. And in the context of the law of cause and effect also, there are levels of understanding from coarse to subtle, to more subtle to most subtle in the way that one can really perceive it. And that in the way that reasoning can be used to affirm or confirm these different levels of karma as well, that it must also be the reasoning itself must go from coarse to more subtle to most subtle.
딜레 타다 여바데 뭐도 되네 신도 타와도 뭐좀더 통고 여마데 오다 여바데다 아니 가서 이체 투에스도
And so, for example, take the concept of impermanence, that there is a coarse sense of impermanence, then a more subtle, and then a more subtle again, and then a most or extremely subtle understanding. And that when it comes down to that level of impermanence, that we can assume its existence, but as far as actually seeing it directly, of realizing it directly, we may have to leave it just as having conviction of its existence, of having a belief in its existence.
다 가이나면 어디래전 다 가자 추점식의 시부지 개체 못 찾기도 하고 다 추점서 다 가자 나라족에 지다 녀목에 짜와데 단제 말이 봐 지금 단제 말이 온기 아니 가서다 독숨게 온기 아니 가서다 차단게 로케네 어떤데 정보도 다 근데 정도 다 되게 되건가 아니 마 대형 와서도 고숨도 찾아 류가 이숨도 찾아 다 류가 이숨도 도미에티 And
so that's when we talk about mental afflictions, we talk about initially the root mental affliction, which is an ignorance of grasping at the true existence of a self-entity. And so from that then issues the three poisonous attitudes, essentially attitudes of attachment on the one hand and aversion on the other, and then we engage in actions based on these negative attitudes, and we accumulate karma, based on the actions of our three doors, and that is physical, verbal, and mental actions. And so, ethical conduct, therefore, is the how we can restrain these actions of the three doors, how we can gain control over our actions, physical, verbal, and mental actions.
다 되는 임바서 다 되는 도도리서 대다 개주 다 대다라서 미게 주봉게 추진 송와라 때네 아니 된주 된시 톱장스 된주 톱장 아니 잠깐 미게 주봉게 추진 소에 된주 도스다 남이 게된게서 된 켜바 전시 톱나 아니 남겨 주발라 사주 현다민 자월레스 다가자 남이 글루된 게된 톱바이나 아니 미루 톱바다 현다민 자월 누가 차와요다 될라 남이 게 연된 게 뭐송시 대개게 질레체 대개게 아니 종어송하고 저 당분이죠.
And so then it said that through our abiding or our through independence upon our ethical conduct of really refraining from and abandoning the 10 non-virtues, that we can attain the fortunate rebirth, such as a human being. And that, but it says even above that, then one can attain what are known as the 8 ripened qualities, and these provide a very special basis that through which we can cover an extraordinary amount of ground in order to attain the state of omniscience, the state of enlightenment itself. And so we're going to look at these 8 particular ripened qualities now, in terms of first recognizing what they are, secondly what their function is, and thirdly what are the causes that we must accumulate in order to bring them about.
다 당부들 체증와서 다 반자 저거 다 개치주 당부 루 대단제 고고도 와 대단 아니 체증 고고도 와루 당부 매바 이나 야도 조스 자스모도 와 쭉 샤마 줍세다 도스 자스모 지도 다 반자 이나 가야는 다 체증와 The
first of these, recognizing what they are, is a long life. This is a very beneficial ripened qualities, and this is quite obvious, isn't it? That it means not just a long life, but that we have good health throughout that life. And because we can see if we have health issues constantly, it's really going to interfere with our sense of well-being and our ability to engage in spiritual practice. And so this refers, I think, probably even more to mental health than even physical health, because even if we have poor physical health but we have a strong mind, we can do a great deal. We can do a great deal to overcome our physical deficiencies. But if it's the other way around, then we have very little hope.
삼로대 아니 저기 꽤 매번 장고 평모도 다 삼로 땅땅한데라 지금 가서래 지금 포지티브 삼로 당게지 네거티브 삼로 융아 당게지 저는 마당게지 아니 강내 좋아이네 디 아니 대외 귤을 배주 당통게지 뭐 된데가 삼로 당트 신게지 다디 쉬울 게지 뭐 있어 지면은 미 탕보 용게 통계 약보 용게 막기 봐제데 한데도 와 소소소 삼로 당당 넣어진 그래서 말아서 남주 열에 남주에 배주 로바 당되기도 와.
So that this is really a key quality, really, because it really also is in implying that we have the ability to think, positively, to think in a very healthy way, even to the point of where we encounter inevitable problems throughout life, but we can actually transform the problem into the accumulation of virtue. And that sort of thinking, and so when we talk about good mental health, this is really the quintessential part of good mental health. That in all activities, that we have a mind that is positive, turned towards a virtue, and that being able to manipulate even negativity into negative situations, problems, into positive virtue, and otherwise, that even if we have a healthy body and a so-called healthy mind, But without that particular aspect, that particular characteristic, then we can easily, misuse the most essential human quality of intelligence, and so really abuse our human intelligence.
that's it. 아니 다들 카도 다 리포송 저밖에 와서 다 아니 저다 미통되고 저 보고도 미통되고 저나 아니 디녀들 지금 가서다 다 가자 통되고 저나 관계게 지금 셈내보지에다 아니 최줄을 받지 메다 어디에 용어 이거다 이제 대 근데 미세다 가셔야 닝제고 시우주네 미니에 거저 최제마도 해요 그러 그래 다 가자 이나 감각이 영화 조사 소리치 와 너무하게 소리치 가져라.
And so the second of these qualities is to have a can be translated as a handsome body or excellent features or even charisma, and that and so basically that's somebody who is appealing to the eye even, and that one can feel close to easily. That there are no obstacles to our engaging in spiritual practice, but as Genna said, they don't want to be too beautiful, because that might create obstacles to your engaging in spiritual practice, and so that they are attractive and appealing for the sake of being able to be of benefit to practice.
가자 미간가 이왕 저 통되고 용해 왔다 통되고 용해 어떤 거고요 다들 레도 근데 어제 깨져 시험에 있는 지금 통되고 저게 깨져 시험은 또 누가 해야 되는 소리지 그걸 미간가 지금 차셔다 미 조단 되는 시도 와 미 조단죠.
Yeah, I think it's referring to a sort of a normal attitude that we have when somebody is appealing even in their appearance, and that it's easier to talk with a person like that, and that person finds it easier to talk to other people. It's kind of like a normal, natural friendliness is more readily available. So that can be a benefit to one's practice.
어떤 간제적 어떤 카도다 아니 릭푸종 속과 다 지다 릭스의 개체 뭐 말해 로 산제의 최대 릭 뭐죠 주바조스 냠내지의 개체마다 릭의 개체 뭐 말해 이나 야다 룽바다 미 조당 온게 다 조다다 최대 송서 자가라 송고 요바 인자 안데가 릭 내다의 시우자 릭 개체 릭 토보 지바나 거 최대가 통계 또서 야가 연구 있어요 그 야디가 최송의 지금 산제의 대화 요바 송해요 막 룽베 내다나 봐봐 다 룽베 미 캄다 메바 통과 송고고요 또 엔디 제데 그 미기 조다다 릭 개체 뭐 지야지다야 릭 토즈 요바 이나 또 배나 상계 좀 되대 개뷰릭을 펴버려 그 내가 차티기도 다 마음 발라 지지 잠바고부터 잠세릭을 펴고 요래 개뷰릭을 펴고 엔디 제 잠세릭 내가 지고 요래 봐 잠세 바만 야 내가 지고 요래 그 내다 미다 펴도 가서 릭코나 안디 제데도 미 지소 디나라 가리 개차 차기도 what the dictator. Generally, Sandy Chulon get you marry. Because the Chizo and Netan to the ship were.
The third of these ripened qualities refers to being born in a prominent family, a high family, an excellent lineage. But again, they're saying actually, when it comes to spiritual practice, lineage or high rebirth is completely irrelevant. It's only in the sense of how well it benefits one's spiritual practice. And this is, again, must go back to the context of when these particular qualities were established. And so it's kind of like relevant to being born in India, where, of course, being because of the caste system especially, that to be born in a higher caste was considered to be more beneficial for one's spiritual practice. And if you look at the time of the Buddha himself, born into the royal caste, and that at that time the so when in the future Buddha Maitreya will be born in the Brahmin caste, and so it's kind of like it's all about timing and context of what particular group that you are born in that can be of benefit, that can be assist one's spiritual cultivation, one's spiritual development. But when we talk about families and caste system, it's completely irrelevant in the Buddhist system.
다 소소 개경원에 이나 개경원은 리도 개점을 냠내 개차. 야 지속하고 돈에 좀좀야 우리 개차거든 그 대세 대두게 내당 민다고 용도도 와.
And so it's saying from one's own point of view, one should never consider one's own birth as a kind of like in whatever kind of like as born in a prominent family, for example, that notion of being born in a prominent family is completely irrelevant. It should be one's practice that is what is key to one. But it must also be conceded that in particular societies that others may be influenced by and inspired by somebody from a higher, so-called higher family who is giving them a good example, so they can have influence, in other words.
다가니시 가서데 저거 상계 좀 된데 다가를 패배 갑도라 아니 내가 리기 개치무슈 지대고 리기 개치무슈 지에 갑직 차대고 이나야 상계 좀 된데 출루고 토나 아니 리기 교치무슈 다나와 상계 출루도 리기 개치무 매베게 되잖아 배 시부지게다 다가를 대체 갈 가서 좋아테마 근데 좋아 차상태도 내려오지 말아 이나 갈 가서 compare 제바이나 좋아 숙심부 대대지 상계 좀 된데 패네 좋아 숙심부 대대지.
And so that when the Buddha was born in India at that time, that class or caste was everything in India at the time, considered to be very, very important. But from that time, and considering how critical the Buddha himself was, even in his teachings of the caste system, that things have changed a great deal for the better in India. And yet it's still there in India, but from compared to when the Buddha was born, it is lost its kind of its significance somewhat.
단데 세월에 배는 차샤와이나 Dr. Ambedkar 제가 단데 Ambedkar 패제 지도 주게 잡게네 안 주고 봐서라게 미르와 Dr. Ambedkar 아니 코란게 남바 먹고 다들 자가 리교 망보시 힌두 나라 파츠고요만 남바 소이샤네 다 자가 남바 인식에 망치하자 리 자가 나 리두가 되게 돼 차되기도 와 망보도 와 오늘은 어디가서 리게 좀 지금 해봐 다 쓰고 싶으려.
And so that, for example, in recent Indian history, during the time of coming up to Indian independence, at the kind of earlier part of the 20th century, that one of the principles supporting Indian independence was a Dr. Ambedkar, who himself was born into the Harijan class, or the lowest caste system. And he had a great deal of influence among his own caste, and suggested that in order for to liberate themselves from the Hindu caste system, and that he really encouraged his followers to embrace Buddhism. And in fact, many of those who refer to themselves as Buddhists in India nowadays are as a result of Dr. Ambedkar's policy, really, and to kind of like sidestep the caste system by becoming Buddhist, because there is no caste system in Buddhism.
what 내가 찾아도 아니 되나 다 리푸즈다 그저 내가 찍고 나 리디 개치 붙자 아니 되나 온주 아니 다가니 찍좀 봐 로다 찍좀 봐자 아니 온체와 잡아자 어디자.
And so then continuing in outlining these 8 ripened qualities after a long life, charisma, and prominent family, there is power. To have power, to have, and then number 5 is a sense of respectability or trustworthiness. And number 6 is to have a good reputation.
What did I say? And then that Kevani Imbas, dear Jawatele Chatty. The chateau, Tadia, they said they lumbe net on the Jota, Tataina, Pecha Moga Sorcery. 다 대세 대두가 미기 다 지속 내당당 저기 된데 다 루비 내당 또서 요를 직잖아 수비 내당 또서 요 그래 직잖아 야 저기 냠내 제때마다 개바 또서 용 그래 얘네 야做的 샘두다 그 제 인차도 야 샘두다 그 제도 거 개바다 비면 개바스타 주고 맞다 가잖아 루브라베 내당 또서 용 그래 얘네 야 샘두다 그 제도 냠내 삐다 그 지금 비면 앞에 미스 한번 보이고 요래 난 학도도 다 높죠 난 낭바인 쓰게 패치 엎어버려 로아야 데데데 거의 비다고만 보용 거 요래 요즘 거 얘네 대야 대체 대두게 롱베 내당 거 돈을 보면 이나 최제 고급 도스 용아 보이나 도스 고급 야가 용아 다 되는 게 받는 요 그래.
And the seventh of these ripened qualities states that it's good to be being a male, to be born as a male. And of course this is very much related to India at that time, where it simply was that if one was a male, one had more opportunity to engage in spiritual practice, and if one was a female, one certainly didn't have any opportunity to engage in spiritual practice. And so, but in terms of when we talk about it, there may be some physiological differences between the male and female, but in terms of being able to control the mind and to cultivate the mind, there is no difference between the capacity of male and female. And in fact, there are many wonderful female practitioners, realized beings in the past, not to mention the fact that probably the majority of those who are engaged in spiritual practice nowadays, in the West especially, are female. And so there is no distinction made between male and female. But this is very much a cultural thing going back in time in India.
다 가이나면은 냠내 야고 제마도는 수무고 수인의 펜토요 말와 냠내 야고 제토가 있나니 아니 보다 보면 개박해요 말와 저 소소 셈되게 되더라 와
And so you know, those who certainly is no distinction made when those who can't engage in good spiritual practice. But when we talk about engaging in good spiritual practice and being able to really gain the benefits of good spiritual practice, there is no distinction made between male and female.
소소 제다마자 산제 그리 요번에 찍발에 미스긴다 남주 요번에 찍발다 남주도 배주 땅 투마도 산제 그리때는 배주 땅 투마도 켜가지 연구로 와.
And so that both male and female have Buddha nature, of course. Both have that equal capacity of human intelligence. It's just a question of who makes use of that human intelligence or doesn't, who can really cultivate that Buddha nature or not. That's where the distinctions are made.
And 학도도 들이가서 냐마가 가서 ancient times 냐마 조다 이나고 physical 시부 개체보고 숙청보다도 어디 개체보서 들이가서 대봐 들이가서 knowledge 지그와 안디고 삼로가 롭종으로 연유도 되는 부터 보면 네가 내가 지금 들이가서 보면 롭종 토부 시부지 되네 배 저기 답 땡도기 차려다 시부지 내가 지금 부터 보면 너도 부가실을 보면 하자 용 되기도 와 그다음 거저 시용가 다 지가 시용은 내다가 돈을 줘요 다 남배 취해서인데 시용은 내다가 돈을 와 나셈 되게는 시용그 딱 공부 검지 전에는 롭종 세도 템바도 개발하고 와
And so in the past, of course, in the ancient times, you know, the quality of power, strength, physical power was held to be most important. Whereas, thankfully, that has developed into knowledge now being considered to be that which is most important. And knowledge comes from education. And it's very clear that when both male and female have equal access to education, that they even females can in so many ways even surpass their male counterparts in gaining a good education. And that education is essential for engagement in Buddhist practice, because one has to use that capacity for analysis and for reasoning to be able to progress.
modern education 저 가서도 옹규 쉐발라 땜베게 쉐유 되게 들어와 다 남배 최스기도 다 옹규 쉐발다 때봤으면 딜레 마사 쉐바마 차다 친 아니 쉐바 차와라 때네 아니 지 가서다 아니 지 상빌로 되게 개탑체 확정도 아니 묘목이 녀부 란제지기 녀부 다지 머리베 녀부 돼서 개탑체 다 내가 쉐다 딜레마 또 삽도네 롭제티 다 남네 지금 저나 보다 보면 개박아요 말이야.
And so that, this modern education that we are referring to, this worldly education, that even though it's certainly regarded as something, arising from the kind of sensual interpretation of the world through the senses and so on, and that whereas from the Buddhist education point of view, one is trying to access more and more subtle levels of consciousness. It's really focused on the mind, on consciousness, and to be able to, from being able to access more subtle levels of understanding, because one is able to access more subtle levels of consciousness, and to be able to, from that, then counteract the mental afflictions at a more and more subtle level. Mental afflictions, and be able to apply the antidotes to those mental afflictions, the antidotes to our self-cherishing attitudes, our self-grasping, true existence of a self-entity, and so on. And that this is the way one uses human intelligence from a Buddhist point of view. And then the eighth of these eight ripened qualities refers to a sense of having strong willpower and vitality. So the second outline is that one discusses the functions of these eight ripened qualities. And the first of these, long life, said the function is that one can accumulate virtue for a long time. With regard to the second, the quality of charisma, that one can attract disciples and that they will listen to what you have to say. The third one, being born into a prominent family, again, it has the quality, the function of that people will generally pay proper attention to what instructions you give, and they will not contravene what you have to say. And fourthly, that when one has a power, one has the capacity to be able to gather many people and ripen their minds. The function of the fifth of these ripened qualities, which is respectability or trustworthiness, is that others apprehend what you say as the truth. The sixth is again having a good reputation and renowned authority, so that others will follow what you have to say expediently, quickly. The seventh, being born as a male, it said that it gives one more confidence and one has fewer hindrances to engaging in spiritual practice. And in the eighth, the quality of vitality, of strong willpower, is that no matter what you have to do, you take delight in doing it, and you can develop the qualities of clairvoyance, for example, quite quickly.
suba gyushe ba desa dambu tserewe jona semjela misewe sabadeba ta semjela misewa ta ane misewe sabada ta socho sawane jigme semjela wada kanja ta socho zamare ta tsewa kanje jimene tsewa jigme sawada wada semjela misewa tila yonde kris ta dagi socho zamare ba semjela tsewa ma jeche rwada tsewa ma jeche ane ta dila tene ta kanja ane kanja tsola nyinga tende yobay tende yobana ane solu tabjiye 아니 생각 세워져 봐라 또 보자 딱 지금 코랑이 쏘는 내가 요야 아니 지금 되는 연구도나 아니 들려 또 봤지 아니 가서 나가서 강에 주나 또 봤지 다 매치 되는 연구로 와또 봤다 매치 봤다 내 요소 제보고 제봤지 어다 되는데 주주나 어다 세르고 요야 주차게 해서 그렇다 어들
And so now the third of these outlines was looking at the karmic component here, the causes of these particular ripened qualities. And the first, the cause that brings about long life is that one refrains from or completely abandons harming sentient beings. But it's not only that, one actually cultivates the whole mental attitude of non-violence, of not engaging in any harm, not harming in any way. And also it includes the sparing of life, the protecting of life. If one sees beings that are in danger, one protects them, one frees them, one stops others from engaging in harm or from being harmed. One engages in the giving of medication and or in a nursing capacity. All of these create causes for having this long life.
다 니바데 다 데로 가서도 체를 맞자 다 되나 안 카도 야고요 도 야고요 돼 니바 안 저를 초합방 봐서 다 가서 서바고에 송고도 호들자
Any marme me dokani and the gengo saba deria.
What the 초합방 봤다 다 말메다 메도다 genso saba derwa 다 셀 치마 what the
The second, the ripened quality of charisma, the cause that brings about charisma is the abandoning of anger. In other words, the practice of patience. And also the bestowing of beautiful, fresh butter lamps, flowers, jewelry, and clothing, and so on.
로다 아니 말아서 다다데 베나제 파다스테 마다스테 다오다나 크리스마스 다오다나 니 바테다 지금도 와 와다 데데 문에데 지가서 데주 페인도 통하시 베가 제바이나 아니 소소를 페인 용대지 다들 롱벨 룩스리아 서서 제바나 거다 데데들 지와 다 데마도 소소가 지금 파마도 진짜 뭐 임바 삼로다네 아니 파마를 줘봐 피해 용걸 와다 메도 나서만은 어때 아니 베나 소소 가보니 볼래 메도 때와 임바이네 아니 전체가 막게 sem제제 다른 데게스 나랑게 sem제고 딱 나랑게 가보전 레가 가고 그때와 여바 있어 갈때 구급 중화를 선서 어떻게 전 딱 같이 가서 최다도 저와 입에 소리 전 어떻게 저는 거배 아니 야난 개체 구조를 야 쳐봐 피해 마음에다 아니 매도 나서 봐 구조를 쳐봐 피해 지 sem제 탐제가 산제 고마도 교류 교과서 선 쳐봐 피해 현실을 지마 당해 나서 연구를 받다 어떻게
And so that these explanation of the cause for charisma is the practice of patience and the giving of these items. And these can be, of course, referring to making offerings to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, the triple gem. But also it can be, offering gifts and flowers and so on, as mentioned here, on Father's Day or Mother's Day or at Christmas time. And using the traditions of the particular country you're in, and with that proper spiritual motivation, being able to do it. Even giving flowers to your lover, if that's what your lover likes, and that to please another person just by an act of generosity. All of this counts as the cause to bring about this kind of result of charisma. And so that when we are giving something like that, like flowers to our lovers, not just a case of you're doing so in order that they will like it, but rather that you're taking the motivation that, on the basis of this act of generosity, may I be able to give to all sentient beings. And knowing the full benefit of it, may they all be benefited.
인도 하고 통하게 닝 제보요야 타도 산계게 줄라 산계게 산상게 줄라 줘대데 수바들이도 와 근데 저 수배 배유 아니 가서도 컨트리 니미트서 양내 양도 삼었다네 아니 저거 쇼게는 꿀로 줘잖아 아니 갈 내가 깨봐야 게 내벨는 게 페바 쪽이 삼사지 내가 깨는 좋아하는 게 페바 쪽이 있어 근데 꿀로 줘 좋아하나 아니 지금 헛갈 지금 책임바 시간 주나 남장 컨트롤 마사에 그래 당번에 다디 가야면 헛갈 지금 남장 컨트롤 사이드를 용 그랬다 쇼게는 다디 요이나 내가 깨는 주는 게 페바 쪽이 삼사지 내가 깨는 주는 게 수박 공기 어디를 좀 치바이나 아니 그 뒤니가 깨 쳐봐야 남장 남주내시 컨트롤 마사에 된다 그래.
And so here the key cause is, of course, the cultivation of the quality of patience, and that this is stated very clearly that through patience one gains a very appealing appearance. And so in this regard the sense of charisma and all that is very consistent with that, and that also it goes beyond that to say that the marks, the major and minor marks, some of the major and minor marks of a Buddha's body are come about through the cause of patience, through one's perfection of patience. And how does one perfect patience? By contemplating constantly the faults of anger, how harmful it is and how negative it is, and that one should really set oneself up in the motivation in the morning by reminding oneself of that constantly, and that here to show that really if I encounter somebody saying anything harmful or acting negatively towards me, I will just respond with benefit. I will not get angry. I will not allow irritation to arise. And so one habituates to that more and more. One is more prepared for the encounters that one has throughout the day. Because it's often the case, isn't it, that we can very quickly get annoyed by something that happens automatically or immediately in front of us, and so our patience is lost from the outset. But if we have really given ourselves that pep talk beforehand in our morning motivation to really be mindful of things like this, and then we can be more readily prepared. Even if something happens very suddenly to us, we can respond with benefit rather than with harm. Not react, but respond. And so that this is a very serious issue, isn't it? That to be able to really counteract the influence of our anger, our irritations, and our frustrations, because it's really one of the worst aspects of life to be constantly in a situation where one is irritated or where one gets angry, because it happens so quickly, and we lose our composure so quickly. And when we lose our composure, we lose our power of control over the mind. And so one really has to concentrate on reducing the power that anger has over us, and that to really make sure that we are constantly opposing that anger through development of patience. Because also, again, No matter how good looking we are or how much we have expertly applied our makeup, that when we have an angry face, nobody looks good.
어디로 다 디임자 뭐서 삽사체게 삽사체고 다 디들 뭐서 도나 되는 거 당분에 쇼게네 근데 지나 그냥 근데는 테스트 해봐지나 너가 제가 저당에 수박 공기인다 수박 공부해서 마세 얘들 펜바 두고 인다 수박 공부서도 디마다 독자 말라봐 대상부 수박 공부쓰기 말봐 독자 말라봐 잠게 가셔야 때는 막기바자 독자 말랍네 안 소소도 막기바자 대대기도 때는 소바공 소바서다 소소 막기바 차사소나 때는 소바 중요 말봐 소바 중요 말해.
And so that this is something there with that we have to really speak to ourselves in our morning meditations or whenever to be I've got to be very, very careful. I've really got to kind of expand and develop and deepen my patience. It's so important that we pay attention to this whole subject, and that it's very, very important also to understand what patience is. It's not just a question of if you are attacked by somebody being very critical of you or negative, and that it's not patience that just to not respond in kind. That's not necessarily patience. Patience is not responding, yes, but also not having any disturbance in one's own mind. So it's not like we are, turned up inside and not, but staying silent. It's not responding with negative words, but also being totally calm, pacified inside. So that's patience.
그래서 랑기 시대 투네 막기버째다 줄로는 doctor 중소나 아니 콘도사 대 독자 말라베나 나라 요는 콘도사니 너미 건갈라니 즉 독자 시대는 연구도 가시 콘도사 줄로는 콘도사 일단 직계 진짜 콘도사 롱랑 이내 피게다 독자 gel라요 말 초 나라 요 아니 콘도사네 즉 막고 독자 랍디에 로아 독자 랍디에 아니 낭로 낭미슬레 롱되는데 용대도 콘도사네 가서 콘도사스도 서바 검스도 코셈 콘도 시험도 마다하자 아니 셈수 뒤네 아니 같이 갔다 바베시 네트워크라 서바 검스기로 디 강내 월 마다하잖아 주 what 마다하잖아 다 네트워크라 서바 검스기로 소소 셈시 되지 네트워크 안디 소소 칼라사일레 도알레 견지기만 이코일레 견지기 말와 시 콘도 사서는 니 단디게 견지기도 파 독자 말라바 있네.
And so that's so important that it's what's happening internally that really defines whether one is properly patient or not. That even though we may not say anything in anger externally, yet we're having this really frustrated conversation within, and so this is not patience. Patience is that which is gets involved in order not to allow anger to overcome the mind, and so it works to avoid, to counter the possibilities of anger and frustration, and to sustain a peace of mind, and this enhances one's ability to enjoy one's life, such as food and have a peaceful night's sleep. Whereas the opposite is the case, even if we do not say negative words in response, but we're still upset, it's going to affect our ability to enjoy our food, and it's going to be hard for us to get a decent night's sleep.
디걸 다그 삼삼 바지는 가 콘도사그래 콘도사나 란레 뉴그레 셴레 뉴그레 다딩게 고급적이 매선 디감내는 가답제 다 마디시시 저도 어느 먼저 경자 삼로단에 가르치는 갈라고 요래 가르치는 지금 요래서 어느 경자 삼로단에 어느 콘도사 주고도 와 콘도수 정보 사주고도 와 어디 고급 마디와 지게 치버려도 와.
And so that when it comes to anger, we first have to recognize the initial stages of when anger is arising, and this begins with a sense of unease, some sort of mental discomfort. And we have to spot that that is what awakens anger in us. So there we must have the mindfulness to recognize that at those early stages of unease and discomfort of mind, and to go, this is not appropriate here. I can't allow this unease to, to kind of develop into anger, because anger harms both myself and others. And it's really, I'm not going to give the opportunity to anger here. This is not what I'm going to allow to happen. And also, in order to stabilize that sense of patience, one should not engage when one, perceives an injustice to oneself, not to engage in that conversation of, oh, why did they say that to me, they're totally unjustified, and that's completely wrong, I'm being hard done by. This dialogue is not helpful. It feeds anger, and so one has to cut that off and to concentrate on maintaining one's peace of mind.
먼저 가서 말아서 미스는 남주여자야 그 좀제 삼로다냐 콘도 사주거다 그 좀제 삼 그 미스 남주여와 남주대 남주 배주 로바당잖아 한테 연구도 와.
And so you can see here in the context of anger and the way anger takes hold, it's often the misuse and abuse of human intelligence that brings it about, because human intelligence comes up with lots of reasons why one should revenge, get angry, and so on. And so that's something that we have to watch out for. The human intelligence has this positive but also negative side to it.
And condos and those kind of tell breathing exercise the bear. So uya tend to and Sanje and Jilla Maluba to Chonsu, Sansaja, and Rangi Lutaja, because Lugi Nataja, we say Chamne, and might give it to the Mabachaso, Sansaja, who part down to and Rangi Kanga Yoga, what don't you Sansaja? What the nigger Sarkashe, Kamakashe, Javina? Tagaran, Gal Samtanja, Udama, Chile Toso, Nala Leso, Tagaran, Gal Samotana, Makibati, Shukton to Totage.
And that in when one is in danger of becoming angry and frustrated, the breathing meditation exercise can be very, very helpful. And here one can use the inhalation to really breathe in the blessings of the Buddhas in the form of pure light, and imagine that it's filling one's entire body with pure light. And then when one exhales, one is exhaling all of what is bringing about this problem in one's thinking, and the negativity of associated with anger and so on. And breathing that out, getting rid of that, purifying that out of one's system, and to do several rounds of that kind of breathing with that kind of visualization can be very helpful to re-establish equanimity or to maintain one's peace of mind.
And mix again, Sanje and Nyamlenke, and you and dating a Tsujunsu, some such.
And to and inhaling as well, that the blessing of the Buddha's quality of patience, that we may be able to emulate the Buddha's quality of patience in our practice, that breathe that in as well.
What the catch what the that's Sumbe Jula and Najapoa, what the Najapoa continue Massa Sweda, Najapoa, Rashu in some Samacha, Najapoa, Tashiba, Shibejo Segu Long la Segu so, Dashing, and Milonia, Pensing Dewacha, Nabejur, Nagin Yapoacha, Nabejur, Nabadilla, 6 to 1 Nagin Yapoa, what that was that want to do about that because that not going to see what so what that you never get the palms and palm that you want to you 6 months you want to to better and good job lama kello pamasola guishin and ye kuracha the better because female that you know that name is sigma that
And so, continuing then with the causes that bring about these qualities, the cause for the third one of being born in a prominent family is that one abandons pride, one overcomes pride, and that one has no feeling of superiority. The fourth one, power, is that comes about through being able to give food and clothing, etc., to those who are begging for it, who really want it, but also that one is even giving altruistically to those who haven't directly begged for it or requested it. And then the cause for the fifth, which is respectability or trustworthiness, is as you might imagine, abandoning all the faults of speech. And this specifically refers to the four non-virtues of speech, like lying, harsh speech, divisive speech, and pointless idle talk. And then the sixth, the cause for the sixth, which is having a good reputation, is serving respectfully the triple gem, one's guru, one's abbot, ordination masters, one's parents, etc.
다 두바텔라 그 비밀의 네미스타워스 된다라 책셔다 지금 저 다간제 저 네미스타워스도 다간제 대체 대두게 에네 된데 개와 말레 쳐도 다 개와 말레 쳐도 다 포일류 중나 삼삼시 아니 대체도 아니 지가서로 다간제 지금 개와 쪽에 소중으로 왔다 지금 어떻게 소리마다 네미스타워 교연다에 된다 저인 거 말이다 된데 말레로 지나서 가서 루베 내단 거 돈에 될 내가 이나 강에 되고 이거 있자 루베 내단 거 돈에 강에 되고 이거 있자 와다 되게 삼로 돈 삼로 뒤 돈에 아니 최루 차상을 쭉 뒤에 받제 직 연구도 삼삼전 진짜로 다다데 내가로 곧 된데 내가 스케치를 받다가 변한 거죠 루바 뒤 내단 소리 잡이나.
And again, when we talk about the causes to be born as a male, again, these are not acceptable nowadays, and that they are completely tied to the time that they were presented, and they're not relevant to that era, as it were. And so they would be like here, where one is particularly keen to avoid rebirth as a female and to attain a rebirth as a male. One is here saying to see the faults of being born as a female, to not have the desire to be born as a female, and to save beings from being castrated, etc.
그 식물부터 대두고 롱베 내당 거 토네 안데스 개발에 최조라 발제 지에는 용도 요바이나 아니 디 내당 디 토네 안 계자만 보실래 되거든 다 지금 나랑도 지다 개치셔도 불을래나 보물을 개바이나 최냠내 제도가 제 개바이나 득되고요다 부이나 보면은 개바가요 말이야 다 최냠내 제도가 샘두두가 제 개도이나 보다디 개 디제도다 아니 제 가서다 지금 아니 샘쟁기 아니 저거다 심지어 아니 포텐데 그 배주 매버 소야 되는 거 어떻게 맞아 다 누가 되면 제대로 열어 다치다 어떤데 제목에 가서 심지어 가서 차바지에 매버 소 단데 디스고 열어 가서 포안 줘봤으나 온고 다가서 뒤쪽에 제대로 와 기타 된데라 그 매버 소 되고 열어 분이 차 매버 소도 왔다 된데 제발은 예반이 용되고 다 하고가 제일 개체 버려도 예버 왔다 된데 제발이나 직계발 류레를 뇌에서로 다 된데 용되기도 와 되게 하고가 제일 개체 버려도.
So again, it's to emphasize the kind of like the time in which all this was asserted. Is certainly not relevant nowadays, but in those days these things were considered, since to be born as a female was considered as an obstacle to one's spiritual practice, then the preferable rebirth was to be born as a male. But we know now, for example, what's most important is the engaging in spiritual practice, and in the context of being able to engage in spiritual practice and to pacify one's mind. There is no distinction made between a male and female.
다 베나 차차나 룽베 내다서 베나 상하게 쳐라 야마 상하게 쳐 레온도 아니 보모스는 시월 개체 무슨 거래 보모를 견제 제와 이나 아니 자동 쇼그래 쏘고 다도 내가 실력도 와.
So, for example, in the context of tantric practice, in there, when I was doing high tantric practice, it's stated that to criticize females is a root downfall in that regard. So females are held in very high regard in terms of tantric practice.
내가 실 룽베 내단 거 돈아 거다 상하게 쳐서다 상하게 쳐다 쳐게 딱 가서다 딱 가서다 지금 강사 코로나라 안에 군에 잔내겠다 지금 봐 지금 가서다 딱 지금 가서다 강사다 코로나라 딱 지금 세들을 접은 얘기는 딱 탈도 가지 땡고 요도 딱 내가 차대기로 와. 딱 뭐 대차대기로 와. 어떻게
And so that in terms of Tantra being like the pinnacle of spiritual practice, that any person can in one life attain that state of enlightenment. And so in that context, it's equal for both male and female.
다 개별적 생기 민요가 랑게 제바 생기 민요가 다 랑게 제바 생기 좋아 제제 사동소 대와 오서 다 규개보대 님 탁반에 주제 슈자바다 아니 개와는 조장도 뭐와다 아니 최대 rapting 타숨라사 그래서 차도 전습 아자 니바 방시 제소 이라시 란게 민요나야 니마레레시 제자 독신 제바 남자 유리라 슈자바 규대나무 규대나무사 셴 규대나 셴 아서 렌도 슈지 셴 아서 렌도 슈지 라완남 렉소 셴 나과 줘봐 오서.
And so the cause for the 8 of these ripened qualities having vitality is that one engages in doing what other people are unable to do, helping out in that respect, and helping out with food and drink and so on, being giving to other people as much as one can. And so one should really do whatever one can, really dedicate oneself to being able to establish the causes for these 8 qualities from the depths of one's heart. And that in this way to dedicate all of our virtues to be able to attain the complete state of enlightenment. And that here in the context of practice, that one should really avoid having any jealousy towards those who are a higher level of practice, having a sense of competitive mind with those who are on the same level as you in terms of spiritual practice, or despising those who are seen to be at a lower level of spiritual practice, but rather to rejoice in all the spiritual practice is the key point. And that also even taking into consideration a realistic appraisal of where you are on the spiritual path, and that to understand like what you're unable to take on at the time now, but to continuously aspire to be able to take on more spiritual practice and more responsibility for one's spiritual practice, and make the necessary preparations to be able to do that, and that also to be able to dedicate so that we can engage in practice intensively for a long time, and also to try and to place others into that practice, and to also recognize others' practice, and to really praise them for their practice and saying, really great, well done.
다 되네 어디서 다 되지 샤쇼바래 되지 샤샤 다 가자 이거 초신 되게 돼 세대에 초신 되게 돼 아니 가서 다 가자 저레다 가자 저 초신 되다라 아니 손대 제발라 때네 아니 저 손대 제발라 때네 다 가자 저 되게 추주별 류대 지가서 세지라 아니 상계 두예게 아니 지금 대적을 때 푸순 소바지 남이 유대 게된다 봤다 지금서 대대를 때 푸순 소바지 영어일라 아니 봐도 주제 디바다가 와 자쳐서 삼사자 자쳐서 삼사자 아니 대대게 딱 가자자 누가 쳐바지 영어에게는 어다 고소도가 지금 납소스 어디서 누가 쳐바지 토베 아니 대 중소사 어디 공부시.
So then, in the context of subsuming or dissolving our merit field, also we preface that by really making strong supplication that we will be able to, really engage in superlative spiritual practice, so that we can, really progress massively in one lifetime to even attain the state of enlightenment in one lifetime. If not, to be able to attain the perfect body basis for being able to engage in perfect practice in the future, to overcome our negativities and obscurations, and to really have a powerful set of conducive conditions to be able to, as described here, to be able to really further ourselves on the spiritual path.
다다다데 그래서 이게 남래 지라 주변 라마데 찍라 찍dem 전에는 그래서다 저도지 장을 템소 삼삼자 다음에 사모다주다 자주저주다 이게 그래서 가장 사만에 제가 야 찍라 찍dem 전에 얘네마 찍라 찍dem 전에 야야야 팀네 아니 그래서다 다다 점 공부다 아니就是咱们呀，你了听说什么啥？我等等听说，但明呢，那个春节送完了，进了今天也讲了，那个让给可是春节我都个那么这个，春节我都这个那么这个进了，现在让给在外那么的，我到那么俺的了，没关中，那么俺的了没关中，等待起来他那么俺的，一个，他一个。咱们进来就为那么这个，这个可是的，叫多长这个，他妈结果呢嘛学生，那么多长爬的，讲样你的，当的那么多长爬的，那么下一个生个爬的，没那让个人家在那么的，让个可是的，当的初学做，那么可是的，那个多长爬的，说什么去，那个说什么，我等他。라마샤자 생각 다가라 다 직도 산자 탐제가 다 직도 어디에 제 공부시.
And so then the dissolution of the merit field, beginning with the lineage of the consecrated practices behind the central figure in our merit field, and they all dissolve upwardly towards the figure at the head of the consecrated practices lineage, which is of course Vajradhara, and so Vajradhara is remaining there, and then both the on the left and the right simultaneously begins the dissolution from the new Kadampas with Lama Tsongkhapa and his group dissolving into the three different schools of the old Kadampas or the Kadampa lineages, and they in turn dissolving into the groupings of the extensive practices lineage and the profound view lineage, headed by Maitreya and Manjushri respectively. So that's all that remains of all those gurus in the merit field of the figures of Maitreya and Manjushri. And then in the space in front of the central figure, we start with those at the lowest level of the Dharma protectors, dissolving into the groupings above and above and above and above, until we get right through to the grouping of our direct and lineage lamas in the space right in front of the central figure, and then in turn dissolve into our own root guru. And so we are left with 5 figures, the central figure, and then above Vajradhara, and to the right and left Manjushri and Maitreya, and in the front our own root guru. And so the dissolution then of these 5 central figures continues with the figure of Vajradhara coming down and dissolving through the crown of the central figure. so that the central figure becomes now Guru Muninja Vajradhara. And then Manjushri and Maitreya come from the left and right and dissolve into the central figure. And then finally our own Guru dissolves into the heart of the central figure, Guru Muninja Vajradhara. And so we have this ascertainment in our mind then that this last remaining figure of the mirrored field is the embodiment of all gurus, all Buddhas. And then just sustain some fixed meditation on that figure, central figure of the mirrored field.
다 다 랑게 집어라 빼마다 니마다 다외 된지 삼로다 아니 데 아니 반대자가 라마로 다게 집어베가 가나 구조도 무조자도 손대 당보체 손대 니바체 손대 수바체 당보가 수우죠 아니 니베가 수 수베가 수 아니 된도 쉬나 산제 고마 마도 보다 랑게 집어라 쇼수 손사실 라마샤지 생게.
And then we visualize on our own crown a lotus, a moon and sun disk mandala seat, and then we invite the central figure from the mirrored field. O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here on my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. And we make this recitation 3 times. With the first time, the figure starts the journey from the space in front towards our crown. With the second, the figure reaches the seat on our crown. And with the third, after the third recitation, we have this certainty that they are stable and consistent there on our crown. And we really think this is really something. I have now become under the protection, as it were, of the Guru Shakyamuni, and that I will be able to avail of this protection until I attain the state of enlightenment.
집어넣마 전 삼사자 받아서 다른 인가 변고 구조도 무르서 이거는 집어넣마 저 당을 봐서 이거가 수로가 땜서 산제 고마도 보도다 자기 니고 수수 삼사자.
And then we visualize that at our own heart center is again a lotus sun and moon disk seat with the lotus upturned, 8-petaled, and again we invite the Guru on our crown down to that seat at our heart center, in the Guru dissolving into light and moving down through our central channel. Again with the same invocation prayer, O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness, bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. Again 3 times recited. With the first, that journey begins. With the second, the Guru arrives at our heart, at our seat, at our heart center. And with the third, we have this again certainty of their stability and steadfastness at our heart center.
타고들라 아니 오모 아 이우리리 아마 소아스테네 가가 자자자고 여러 샤가서 하자소 될 이래 수고라자 아니 데네 덴데가 뭐 예다마 해도 잡아 다다카다 하이 외다데 힘으로 마 샤만에 소스트리 오다 이게 되다 거네 아니 나로는 왜서저 랑게 집어네 간디가 봐도 왜세 참네 아니 다 랑게 지금 가서도 지금 류마 대월라서 왔다 지금 류기 견 탐자 마 쇼스 아니 지금 컴저 조시 컴 뭐냐마다 컴 용바 차소 안 자다 롱다 다 되게 견 가리는 견 되게 거 봐. 견 탐자 센, 견 탐자 다네. 오다 간제 지금 what done da ga je sanje koma ma to ba to da je so so koma she.
And so then at our heart center, the 8-petaled lotus folds over, enfolding the figure of our Guru at our heart, and this is sealed at the top with a semi-vadra, and then it is circled by the Sanskrit vowels moving in a clockwise direction, the Sanskrit consonants moving in an anti-clockwise direction, and the mantra of dependent origination moving in a clockwise direction. And so from within then this powerful light permeates the petals of the lotus, and it encompasses all of our body, really pervading every cell of our body, so that we have the certainty that all our physical limitations and faults are completely purified, and that all of our elements in our body are back rebalanced, and so we have this kind of sense of all faults completely purified from our body. And then through the combination of our own most subtle wind acting as the substantial cause, with the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, our own body is transformed into the enlightened body of a Buddha. And then through the combination of our own most subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, with the mind of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, our own mind is transformed into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And now my own body, speech and mind have become inseparable from the body, speech and mind of the Buddha. And the place that I am in is purified of its impurities and is transformed into a Buddha realm. And this is something really significant, how wonderful this is. I rejoice, and this is the day I attain the state of enlightenment to be a benefit to sentient beings. And then through our own body, from our own heart center as a fully enlightened Buddha, we emanate rays of light equal in number to all the sentient beings in all the 3 realms of existence. And those lights enter in through the crowns of all those sentient beings, such as they are purified of all faults and negativities, and they spontaneously arise as enlightened beings, as Buddhas, as well as that all of their places of existence are purified of any impurities, and they are transformed into Buddha realms. Today is the day I have really attained my objective of really bringing all sentient beings to the state of enlightenment. This is really something superb. I rejoice. And again, I understand that this does not exist in the way it appears. From that arises a sense of bliss, and from the bliss arises the emptiness, and we abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness. I know this is simply made manifest now through my imagination, but I dedicate everything I have so that it quickly can become actually manifest as a reality. And now we recite our Lamrim prayer. from my two collections, vast as space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time. May I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives mentorship. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid, that the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds to be nourished for a long time, by even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere.